Hi. So last week I shared with you a video describing the worst private lesson I have ever taken. And today I'm going to share the worst private lesson I ever taught. What makes teaching a bad experience for the pro? Well, like anyone else, it is stress. So what can create stress? Honestly, I cannot narrow this down to a single private or individual or couple, but I can absolutely narrow this down to a profile of what, for me, the most stressful private lesson looks like. And there are three types, so I'm going to break down each of those because I've personally experienced them all. Fortunately, for the record, I am at a stage in my career where I do get to cherry pick my clients. So when I do encounter a student that's stressful for me to teach in any way, I don't fire them per se, but I definitely invite them to take with another pro in town. And absolutely, if I think there's someone that will be a better match for them, I give them a specific name and contact information because I don't want to leave someone without the ability to grow. So the first and worst couple for me to teach are those that don't get along with each other. And in the context of the dance lesson, it's not that they argue about personal things, it's that they argue about the dancing. And they are angry at their partner. You're doing it wrong. She's doing it wrong. You need to dance this with them so they can feel what they're doing wrong. And inevitably, I would say 9 times out of 10, this takes the form of the lady partner, the follow, contacting me outside of the lesson, after the lesson, to say, you need to tell him to do blah, 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 blah. You need to focus on him because he needs to do da, 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 da. I can't do my job because he's not doing his, so you just need to teach him. And here's the reality, ladies. He can only do so much when he's got a giant anchor tied to his boat, okay? And I'm no dummy. When I'm teaching a couple, I'm going to give you both helpful suggestions to help each other. Because your job as a dance partnership is to be half of the partnership. Or in ladies, in your case, if you're following, whether that's a man or a lady, you're about 49%, but you're certainly not just a purse hanging on this person's arm, okay? And it takes 2 to tango, literally. So always be patient with your partner and trust in that private lesson. If your pro is not focusing on them, there's probably a reason for that. Sorry to burst your bubble. Okay, second kind of profile of a couple that I greatly dislike teaching are youth couples. Most youth couples are incredibly joyful and rewarding because they do learn very quickly. And there's a number of biological reasons for that. But it becomes very stressful when the parents micromanage that couple. And to be specific, I don't mind if the parents say, oh, I'd like it if you could focus on ABC. That's fine. Doesn't offend me at all. But it bothers me to the core when those parents are accusatory and condescending to the partner of their child. For example, this has happened more than once. I've had a male student's parents contact me with, you need to find so-and-so another partner because she's too fat or she's not good enough, or they'll just straight up break up with their partner because she's gained 10 pounds. And frankly, they are children and they are going to go through puberty. And as such, you know what? Girls are going to get bigger and lose weight. The kids, both boy and girl, are going to grow quickly and go through a little bit of an uncoordinated phase, because you would too if you grew 4 inches in a year. And likewise, when I've had the parents contact me, like, well, you need to tell her to lose 15 pounds. Well, that's like me telling your son he needs to get rid of his acne. This is a stage of life. Just let them be kids and trust that your teacher does have your best interest at heart. If I thought there was a better partner for either of you, I'd be the first one to say something, but your child isn't as perfect as you think they are. And their partner is often not as bad as you think they are. So that is another way a lesson becomes insanely stressful for me as the coach. Can't stand it. Dismiss. Okay, finally, my third kind of profile of a private lesson that is stressful for me as the teacher to teach and unpleasant is when the student reliably does not recognize their own progress. So for you as the student, I absolutely recommend taking video of yourself over time. Or even if you just compete, like, are you actually getting worse? Or is it that you think you're getting worse? Because you are progressing, and as we learn how much we don't know. And the better you are, the more skilled you become, the higher that goal level is, okay? And I totally understand and am compassionate when a student is hard on themselves. Those people tend to learn very quickly. But when they reliably come in and think, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not learning, and I see the progress, and honestly, I've never seen a student not progress, even with a single private. By the end of that lesson, that is a rewarding experience for me because I see growth. But if the student 100% of the time does not recognize that growth, I feel that is a failure as a professional, like I'm not successfully communicating my happiness with their accomplishments. So, or likewise, even if I feel I'm communicating that effectively, if they aren't recognizing that, because it makes me feel unappreciated as a professional. And at that point, I would rather refer them to someone else who, even if they're not progressing as fast, if they feel that progress, it would make the dancing more joyful for them. And that's ultimately extremely important to me, that they're not only competent and respected as a dancer, but that they have a joyful, 100% fulfilling experience. So that's what my ugly private lesson looks like when I've taught it in the past. And again, if you're my students right now, don't worry. I've already cherry-picked you. I love you all. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.